Ladies and gentlemen, episode 48, Talkin' Shop Podcast. I'm Coach Ballgame. I got Chad Chopper here, and today's a little bit different. Today is about dad. Our guy, Nick Punto, is with us right now, and he's a legend in himself, a local legend in Southern California, played 14 years in the bigs, World Series champ. He's in the Saddleback College Hall of Fame, and he's a great friend of mine, and I love the dude. He's got a legendary coach of a dad that just passed away this week, and Nick wanted to come on, and he wanted to talk about dad, and I can't think of a better place, better podcast where all we try and do is talk to dads about being a better dad and being a better coach. This is the spot. And Nick, I'll let you have the floor on Lou, on our man Lou. So I don't really know how else to start but by asking, when did he first start coaching you, brother?
Well, first of all, ball game. That's a great lead in. I'm absolutely excited, thrilled, and a lot nervous about talking about dad right now. But I wouldn't want to do it on any other platform but yours, buddy. You too. I've been telling him that he's got to meet you, that you're doing all the right things, all the things that he believes in, all the things that his foundation is about. His foundation is about the kids. Like, if the kids aren't having fun, then what are we doing out here? And that's what I see with you out there with the kids. There's no doubt about it. They're having a blast. They're having a good time. They're learning baseball from a smart man from Brown University that not only knows baseball really well, but he's artistic and he brings that into the game. And these kids are just so blessed to have you. And I want to start with that, buddy. I really do,
man. Well, I mean, we played some golf, and I think half the time we talked about your dad. And one of the things you mentioned is you got to meet him. You two are from the same tree, and he gives all these kids nicknames. Let's start there, man. I mean, when did you first notice that he started engaging kids and making the game fun by calling them nicknames?
It was, for as far as I can remember, he did it. I think he did it just because there's just too many kids to remember. He had 4 or 5 teams. His first organization was the OSB, Old School Baseball. And, he had 5, I think, teams that he had to watch. And if he didn't nickname them, he wasn't going to remember them. That was his thing. So he loved the nicknames. The kids love the nicknames. I mean, his kids now are adults. His first couple years, those kids are grown adults now. And they're reaching out to me on Instagram, asking me about Pops and how he's doing. And it's the nicknames that I go to my dad when I was out to tell my dad about people that were talking about him. It was always the nickname, and he got it. He understood who it was, where they were, when it was. He just had a heart of gold, and he loved being able to know each and every one of his players.
Amazing. Chopper, I'll throw it to you, brother.
Yeah, it's something we talk about where everyone gets caught up in accolades, but really for us, it's about legacy, right? So for your dad, his legacy is all these players and these nicknames that he's left behind, but he's still impacting these lives. And that's amazing. Do you think that's something he did intentionally, or is that's just who he was? Like, he was going to love on others, and he was going to make it fun, and he was going to really have that empathy and that joy towards others?
He did. I mean, it was absolutely a fun thing. I think growing up in the Bronx, everybody had nicknames for everybody. Growing up in that melting pot that he grew up in, he brags about that all the time, and everybody had nicknames. I think it comes from an endearing place for sure. If to know Lou is love. My dad was all love, and he unfortunately, this is why I'm here. With Coach Ballgame, kind of announcing that we did lose my father. We lost him. It was a tough, really, really long, tough week, being by his bedside every day with my sister and all my family in town, and all these friends that are around that are trying to come around. And the community I live in, which is Ladera Ranch, as you guys know, has just been incredible with, just showering us with love and condolences for Pop. So, gosh, yeah, I don't know. It's just, my world's upside down right now, but I did want to, say thank you to all my neighbors and all the 800 texts that I haven't got back to. I promise I'll get back to those at some point. And my father did love every single one of you that has reached out. And it's going to be different. It's going to be a different world without him. I'm looking forward to making him proud, making him proud. I thought of you guys this morning when I woke up. I said, what would my dad want to be doing? What would he want me to be doing? And it was probably the same thing he did. Make kids love the game of baseball. Make kids play the game right. Make kids enjoy missing a weekend baseball tournament to go hang out with their family at the beach. It's not all about this travel ideology that if you're not playing enough baseball, you're not going to make it to the, on your high school baseball team or your college baseball team. I think, you and I, Chopper, we played travel ball. We did all that stuff, but I think we had more lives than these kids today. And that's what you and ball game really get a good point across. It's like, it's not all about just baseball and playing as much as you can and striking as many people out as you can and hitting home runs. It's about loving the game of baseball, playing the game right, and adding value where you can. And you guys are doing a great job at that.
Yeah, thanks, bud. Yeah, I agree with you. For me, baseball was an escape, right? And it's so cool to hear that your dad was pouring into that for kids, where they could come there and it was going to be a safe place. It was fun. It was engaging. He was going to teach them to play it the right way. And I'm sure there was accountability baked into that equation, but he did it through love. And that's why, at the end of the day, so many people are reaching out to you with like, dude, your dad impacted me. And I can't imagine this. That's just so special for you. And it's hard. But we really appreciate you being on with us. Coach Ballgame.
Yeah, man. I'm going to cry just as much as you here. Just thinking of the community that he cultivated and the thousands of text messages that you've gotten about Lou. How was he as dad and coach for you? Because he was your first Little League coach, but he's your dad. So, what did he turn it on, turn it off? How did he kind of marry those two on the Little League field?
Yeah, we definitely had our father-son bouts, if you will, because I was just as competitive as he was. But at the end of the day, he knew how to calm me down. I was definitely one of the more competitive kids on the field. I couldn't control my emotions at times. I was one of those kids, but he was able to calm me down in the right moments. He was able to wait a day after maybe I had a tough game, struck out a few times. He knew how to just love and not even bring up the game. That's a great tool for parents that are listening right now. When your kid strikes out 3 times on a Sunday and definitely was the reason the team lost, don't talk about baseball. Put him in the car, sit him down, go get some ice cream. He's beating himself up enough, just give him some love. And my dad was great at that. He really was.
Love that. We talk about the car ride a lot, and we talk about whatever you're feeling as a parent, that kid multiply it by 10. That's the emotions going on in his head, whether it's in the batter's box, on the pitcher's mound, in the backseat on the car ride home. So the fact that Lou could be such a competitor, but yet understand when to take a day off or when to give you a break. I mean, that's the point of this podcast. I mean, that is the reason we're speaking right now into this microphone is coaches, dads, moms out there. understand where your kid is as far as their mental health in that moment, and be loving, love on them, love the heart. Chopper says it all the time: win the heart before you win the game, or you're going to lose them. And man, attaboy Lou. What kind of messages have you gotten from those kids that he coached, just as far as his legacy, his impact on them, as now they're almost 50 years old?
I know, you're right. Yeah, his first batch is, they're coming up on 35, 35-year-old kids. So they're reaching out. They're already grown men. They're already, having families. And, it's not about baseball. It's about who he was. It was about his, where his foundation was just so, it was all love. And unbelievable coach. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was an unbelievable coach. He was the best coach I've ever had. Knew the game, the ins and outs of the game as good as anybody. But that took a back seat to the important part, as far as I'm concerned, and you guys are concerned. And that's love the game of baseball, right? You just love the game of baseball. Then we'll work on the fundamentals. Then we'll work on this stuff. Because if you lose that love, then there, what is there? Like, see you later. Like, you're not going to go play high school baseball. And if you do, you're not going to enjoy it anyway. Right.
Everybody we've had on this pod, teach them to love the game before you teach them to play it. And then they'll learn how to play it better, because they love it. How about Grandpa Lou? I got to meet your boy at the 2019 All-Star game. That's how we met as well. And you guys did an Attaboy challenge. And I got to tell you that I fell in love with you right away, watching you love on your son and do an Attaboy challenge with your boy. What's your boy going to talk about in 40 years about Grandpa Lou?
The Rooster. Yep. So my dad nicknamed him the Rooster. He's
Amazing.
kind of he is a rooster too, boy. When he walks in the room, he's there. Just like my dad. It's funny. I've always told my dad since the day Rooster was born that it's like raising you, like, because he's just so stubborn in his ways, knows exactly what he wants, but he's all love. Like, I'm raising my father, and at times it's tough because we do butt heads, just like me and my dad did. But I mean, it is such a joy, and they had such a great relationship. The Rooster and Lou just had such a fantastic relationship. They loved talking baseball, but they also had their love for superstars. So my dad, I grew up not having baseball teams. I grew up not having football teams, basketball teams. He fell in love with greatness. And before he passed, the greatness he didn't miss was Tom Brady. He didn't miss one of his games for the last 5 years. He recorded them, on the DVR, and didn't miss one single game. Before that, it was Joe Montana, right? So it was Joe Montana, Tom Brady, basketball, Magic Johnson. He just fell in love with greatness and that those superstars. Mike Trout, right? He followed the superstars, which then that kind of, he passed that down to me. So I feel like a front runner, because it's always like the greatest superstars are usually winning, right? They're usually, so I've been rooting for Tom Brady when he was a Patriot, and now when he was a Buccaneer. Everybody's like, you're a front runner. I'm like, yeah, I guess I kind of am.
It's good. Hey, I mean, my favorite players of all time, Jordan, Tiger, they're the best for a reason. That you have to watch them for a reason.
That's right.
Chopper, back to you, brother.
Yeah. Where did Lou's love for the game come from? You talked about he grew up in the Bronx, and I know my family grew up out there as well. And my grandmother, till she passed, she was recording every Dodgers and every Angels game. That was back when it was VHS still, and then we had to teach her about the DVR. Where did Lou's love for this game that he passed on to so many people? Where did that come from?
That came from the Bronx, New York. Yeah, Bronx, New York. Just growing up playing stoop ball, playing. It's where you're, hitting with the stick, stick ball. You kind of see it maybe in some of those black and whites with like Roberto Clemente, but that was like where his love came from. His grandfather, or my grandfather, Emilio Punto, was a postman, worked really hard, wasn't totally available, but was also a great mentor for my father. And they played a lot of baseball together when they could. But just grew up right there in the Bronx. He was a really good athlete. He ended up getting drafted by the Boston Red Sox. Never did go play because he was also a lead singer in a band. So he got caught up in the 60s, as he likes to say, and just never could make a decision going which way to go. But just an unbelievable man.
What for our coaches out there, and myself as a coach, what were, if you could, like, for me, I have 4 kind of pillars of success, right? Run the bases smart, put the ball in play, catch, throw strikes. What was him as a coach? And you talked about he's the best coach you ever had. If you could kind of sum it up, which I know you can't, but like, hey, dude, like if you're going to coach, these are the things you should focus on beyond the make sure they love the game, which is critically important. But fundamentally, where did he kind of align?
Well, this is his number one pillar was obsession will always be talent. That's his number one pillar. And that was me. I mean, the amount of players that I passed up that were physically more talented than me throughout my career was immense. I'm 5'9". Scouts were telling me I wasn't fast enough, tall enough, strong enough my whole way until I did make it. Right. So, but I always heard that nonsense, and he was Buck. He called me Buck. Buck, your obsession will always outbeat their talent. And it wasn't that I wasn't talented. I just was obsessed. I was obsessed with being great. And that's different. That's the answer for me. I'll stick with that forever. That's going to be. But as far as like pillars on the baseball field, always defense, right? Defense wins ball games. That's his thing. Stay strong in the middle. If you got a great catcher, shortstop, second base, center fielder, we're going to win a lot of ball games if they play great defense. And then be able to do everything offensively. He was pretty disgusted by the game of baseball the last 10 years, at the MLB level anyway, because he's kind of an old school guy. He wants to see the hit and run. He wants to see the bunt. He doesn't like the shift, all that stuff. But he was a special one. He really was. That's Chopper.
Awesome. When I was still working in Major League Baseball, I'd come back and work with guys in the off season. So a high school coach, like, hey, can you come work with my hitters, man? They're all working with these guys that are only teaching them, to your point, like the home run, the swing and miss. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll come out. They're hitting off a tee, and I had this stud, like 3-hole hitter, really good hitter, and he's just hitting rockets pull side. I'm like, hey, awesome. State championship game, guys throwing 95, running around second base, 7th inning, tie game. And I'm not going to call a bunt, even though I probably would. I need a ground ball to the right side. Can you do that? Off a tee. Couldn't do it. I'm like, dude, like, you got to be a hitter, not just someone who can hit. So I guarantee your dad would align with that. Like, be a hitter, like be able to do everything. Like, what does the situation call for? I love it. I love it. That's your dad.
No, I love it too. Yeah, I love it too, Chopper. That's kind of what, I mean, we're getting off subject here, but like the one guy that I really think is a baseball player and is one of our dear friends is Albert Pujols. Like, he never fell in line with just one way off a tee. Like, he was a hitter, and to this day, or now that he's retired now, but all the way through, he was not going to strike out. Where like hitters today, they think they can just take 3 hellacious swings and go back to the dugout. There's just not as much pride as there was when you and I were playing anyway.
Yeah, the grit, dude, 100%. And Chris Duncan, who passed away, he talked about Albert off a tee, where he's like, dude, this guy in the cage, every swing off the tee is Game 7 of the World Series. Never seen that level of focus or obsession, to your point, to use your words. You're absolutely right. And then when you get guys that are obsessed with talent, that's your Albert Pujols, that's your Michael Jordan, that's your Kobe Bryant, that's your Mike Trout. You know what I mean? But to your point and your dad's point, like, if you can fall in love with this game so much that it can be what you eat, breathe, and drink, you can't be stopped. We had Evan Longoria said the same thing. Like, dude, if you don't quit and you love what you're doing, you'll pass everybody up. You did it too, Nick.
Yeah.
And that's because of your dad. I saw a quote that you had And I'm curious if you got this from your dad. I'm sure it passed it from someone with your family. We say the same thing in our household, but you said we never say I can't in the Punto household. I saw that on one of your tweets. That's a big deal. That's powerful, dude. Where did that come from?
That's him. Yep.
Yeah.
I can't. No, we don't say I can't. We say I
love
will. Yep. Find a way. Find a way.
I love it. Coach Ballgame. I love it, Nick.
Awesome.
Obsession will always beat talent. Never heard it until now. Boy, I'm writing a book. It's called What My Friends Have Taught Me. And Lou's going in that book. Lou just taught me that obsession will always beat talent. I love that so much. And parents and coaches, if you teach your kid to love something, then they'll obsess about it. And then you'll have to beg them to come in from the backyard, throwing that ball against the wall. There's so many moments in your career that Lou had to have just been so proud of you and the man that you became. Can you pinpoint one or two where he just, I don't know, maybe he broke down, maybe he cried, maybe he just gave you some uncomfortable eye contact and said, "I am so proud of you, son." Can you think of a moment or two?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many of them, ball game, because I didn't share. Every time there was some sort of incredible moment, he was the first phone call. You know, like, unfortunately, I lost my best friend, but I would say the day I got the call to go to the show, Chopper, this is the call. This is the one that we've been working for since we were 5 years old, 6 years old. When I fell in love with the game, ball game, I fell in love with the game because of a great, unbelievable mentor, coach, just like you. And whew.
Yeah, that's Lou, man. He's up there.
Yep.
He's
he remembers the call. He remembers the call. It's AAA baseball. I had just an okay season. I hit 230 for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons. I played unbelievable defense. I led the league in stolen bases. Our season ends. The Phillies are making a run. They're making a really nice run. They got a chance to make it to the postseason, to make it to the playoffs. This is in the year 2001. I'm pretty upset about my season because I hit 229. I did love how I played defense, and I loved what I did on the bases, right? So I did a couple good things. Had no idea I was going to get called to the major leagues. I didn't deserve it because the way I hit. That was my thinking. Well, I didn't think that when teams are have a shot to go to the postseason, they're looking for any asset that's in AAA that might be able to help them. It doesn't matter. Money is no object when you have a chance to go to the postseason. So my manager calls me in, Mark Bombard, my play manager, unbelievable, great, reminded me of my father, just a sweetheart of a man, unbelievable baseball man. Calls me in the office. I'm like, what the heck's this about? Our season's over. He's probably just saying, hope you got, safe travels, everything taken care of. Well, he calls me in the office and says, sit down, you're going to need to sit down. I'm like, oh shoot, what do I do? And I could be one of the class clowns. So maybe I did something a little bit off for him, and he wanted to sit me down. Well, he sits me down. He says, you're going to the show, Buck. You're going to the show. And I lost it. I mean, I absolutely lost it. And I give him a hug, and I said, I got to go call my dad. And it was when cell phones, I had my Nokia flip phone. You remember those little Nokia flip phone, $1 a minute. I think I spent 4 minutes and 38 seconds on that phone. So I kept it under 5 minutes. But yeah, we cried together, and that was probably one of our most special moments. Just what it took to get there, and we did it along the way together. From age 5 to age 21 or 22, whatever it was when I got called up. Pretty cool.
When dad's your best friend, I don't think it gets much better than that. I've heard Joe Buck say the same thing about Jack. He was my dad, but he was also my best friend, and I was his best friend. What'd you guys talk about when it was just you guys by the fireplace, having a cold one, or what? Yeah, what were those conversations like just between you two?
I mean, in a nutshell, love. In a nutshell, it was just love. Like that's what he loved. He didn't like finances. He didn't like politics. He didn't like money. All he did was he loved his family. He loved his family. He loved sports. He loved athletics. But he didn't. He hated this world we're living in. He hated all this stuff that's going on. I mean, he is love. That's why he's been reached out to. That's why I have 1,000 missed text messages. You know, the emails are pouring in. The flowers won't stop. It's like the man was love. And
Wow.
that's what fireside chats were. You know, it was about
Yeah.
family and love and vacations, and it wasn't all that. You know, maybe arguing about some sports and favorite players. And you do both have this in common, Roberto Clemente. You know,
Man.
I'm so bummed. You don't even understand. Like, I am a little bit bummed that you guys never got to meet. A lot bummed.
And I forgot the fact that you said he was a musician and an artist. Like the fact that he could marry art and baseball. I mean, that's when I knew I could go to a job that I loved. Like I don't work. I just go to a place where I get to do what I enjoy. You know, play the drums, sing songs, recite poetry, and you know, my dad, he made sure that I took a path where I would say that at the end of the day. He would go to work because he was trying to pay my way through college, and he went to a job he didn't like, and he'd let me know that. And as I started to struggle, you know, trying to pursue my interests, and that's my advice to every kid out there: fail, struggle, enjoy the struggle. You're going to fail a billion times, but I'm hitting 30 years old, and he's still like, "Hey, you still chasing? You still chasing those dreams?" And I was like, I guess I am, man. I guess I am. And he just never pushed me to settle. And so I can honestly say, I feel like I've met Lou, you know, even though we didn't get a chance to meet. I feel him, you know, I think I'm going to feel him a lot while I'm coaching, while I'm working with kids. For some reason, especially when you don't meet somebody in person, when they do pass, it's like you're closer to them after the fact. And that's just, I mean, I think that's going to be my relationship with Lou.
I love that.
Yeah, I believe that too. It's almost like they become saints, right? So like Saint Lou is, you know, he's the baseball saint for Coach Ballgame and myself too, trying to draw off of that love that we can try to pour onto our kids. That's the impact he's going to have on me too. Never met him, but just getting to hear what he's about. That's what I strive to be as a coach. And that's evolved. When I first started working with youth, Nick, I thought, hey dude, I got to be hard on these kids. And like, they got to do it the right way. And I'm going to be tough love. And I remember calling my assistant coaches aside. I'm talking young kids, dude. It was not the play, like 10-year-olds. And I would tell my assistant coaches like, hey, I'm going to be hard, but I need you guys to love on them. Like I knew you needed that love component, but I still thought that I had to drill them the right way. But it's like now, like all I talk about is how much I love the kids that I coach, and my love for them and my joy is detached from the results. It's unconditional love. I'm going to love you. I believe in you. Even if you fail, if you get back up, you're still on the path to greatness, right? And even if you do something else, like baseball's not for you, you're loved. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're special and you're awesome. So like, that's Lou. So for me, it took me some time. And that's my question to you is, was Lou always like that as a coach, or did he kind of evolve as he got a little bit of realizing what was truly important as far as the joy and like making sure these kids knew they're loved?
Yeah, he evolved as well. He was all love, but yes, he, like I said, he harped him, drilled him. He was, definitely pay attention to details oriented coach. But there was, he was able to say things that I don't think I could say. I told him, I'm like, Dad, I love watching you coach, but I don't know that I can say that. He, like one of his kid might like get missed by a curveball, and he'll scream like, "It's okay, sweetheart. That won't hurt you. You'll be okay." And like embarrass the kid while he's in the batter's box. Or a kid will miss one right through the legs and be like, "Did you forget your cup at home?" Like embarrass him on the field. Like he had his way of saying the thing that was probably the worst thing you could say to a kid in that moment.
Yeah.
But yet getting that kid to smile. It was like so unique. Like the kid just lost the game for the team or something, and he was able to get the kid to smile. Like things that I don't have that personality, but he just, like I said, he was so much love that everybody knew it.
Well, that's trust.
Well, yeah. And the kids
That's
know,
trust.
yeah, the kids know that he had that relational equity already. Like they already know coach loves them. So like that could be taken the wrong way if you don't know that my coach loves me. If you know your coach loves you, he can say anything like, "Oh, that's my guy. That's my guy. I know he's in my corner. I know he's for me. I know he's not against me. I'm not taking anything out of context with him. I know what he's about. He loves me." That's huge. Yep. That's St. Lou.
That's St. Lou. That's awesome, Coop. I absolutely love that. And ball game trust. You nailed it, buddy. They all trusted him.
Yeah, that's what we try and build. Once we start looking through the right lens, it's about building that trust, that relationship with the person and with the heart, and then you can coach like Lou. What was his nickname? Did Coach have a nickname?
Sweet Lou.
Sweet Lou. Bang. Did you have to? How long did it take before you felt comfortable as a player calling Coach Sweet Lou?
Sweet Lou. I mean, Sweet Lou is what all my teammates called him. Like all my A-ball teammates and my AAA, AA, all my roommates. He would come room with me on the road when I was in the minor leagues because I couldn't afford to put him in a hotel, and he was a salesman. So like we weren't that well off, so he would just spend the night with me and my shack up in our tiny little condos and A-ball or AA, and all my teammates just absolutely loved him, and that was a cool thing to get to experience with my dad too, just being a young adult and, going out for a couple adult beverages and having dinners and just seeing how much my teammates loved him too. So it was validation for the man I knew I grew up with, but it was very validating to see these other grown man athletes that made it all the way to the minor leagues get to enjoy him as well.
I think some of my dad's favorite times as well is just being able to hang with my teammates, high school, college. He's just just even more joyous than normal. And I think this conversation we're having, it's going to make me want to call Dad today. I think it's going to make a lot of people want to just call Dad and chat and love on each other. And you have to take the brunt of that by losing Sweet Lou for all of us to get closer to Dad. Man,
I know.
I don't have any more questions for you, but I'll just ask you, what's next? What's next for you and the family on how to honor Sweet Lou and just try and keep moving forward? What's next for you?
Yeah, obviously, it's day by day right now. I've been reached out to by a lot of people that have lost, fathers or mothers, and it's going to be a roller coaster, and the emotions will come in waves. And I've gotten such tremendous advice throughout my neighbors and friends. And like I started earlier, I do want to touch on that one last time. Is that my neighborhood's just been incredible. Like the food train. I don't think I've made a meal in 8 days. That just the little things like that. I'm so blessed to be living in this Ladera Ranch community with all these amazing friends and family and love I'm surrounded by. And I promise I will reach out to all you guys at some point, but it's a whirlwind right now. I'm glad we got to get on here. It was soothing for me. Ball game. Thank you. Chopper. Thank you. Soothing for me just to get on here and brag about my dad. Like that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life. Now it's we don't ever get in that little argument. And I'm going to miss that little argument over which player is better than the other. But now it's kind of fun that it's always going to be just me bragging about him. And I'm glad I got to do it on your platform.
He finished the race, man. He finished the race. He finished it fighting. That's what I ask God for every day. Help me daily to finish the race fighting and leave an impact. So Lou will inspire me on the dark days. How about that? You know,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Chopper.
And I know we were going to talk other things, ball game, and I can't wait to. I mean, let's do episode 2 soon. We'll talk me, talk you, talk baseball, talk kids. But I appreciate you letting me have this time for sweet Lou Punto today.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on and trusting us with this forum. This is just going to be therapeutic for a lot of people. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Hey, have a great day. And reach out if you need anything from us, please let us know. We're in.
All right,
we appreciate
Choppy.
you,
We'll
buddy.
do it again, man.
Okay.
Let's go. You play golf?
Oh yeah.
Man,
Okay.
I hope you can like see past 340 yards, Chopper.
I love that.
That's
That's like playing with Will Smith, dude. Catcher for the Dodgers, dude. We played with Pools and he's blasting it. I swear, Nick, it's 400 yards, dude.
I heard it's different. Yeah, like
it's different.
When Albert told me that it's different, like I know what that means. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
We'll do it, buddy. But hey, yeah, love you, dude. And like I said,
love you too, man. That was awesome.
We're with you.
That was so therapeutic. I appreciate you guys.
All right.
Well, hey, love you, buddy.
Love you, bud. See ya.
See you, Nick.
Boy. Man,
talk about best friends, and that's the thing for me with Nick, like talking about his dad, and for me for me specifically, love all my babies. That relationship is Bo, you know, and it's like when Bo says, "Hey, Dad, you're my best friend," and that like to my core, like I can't even express it in words, but I can only dream for Nick, like when Bo's Nick's age and I'm older, and it's like, you know, it's an inverse of what Nick's got right now. And I can only hope and pray that I live up to what Sweet Lou did, you know, and be that best friend to all my babies. It's amazing, you know, and it is. You're going to call your dad. I'm going to call my dad right after this too. Just say, hey, I love you. And for all of our listeners, do that. Like you just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, you know? Amazing.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's something pretty special about the game of baseball and father and son. There just is. It's almost intertwined. And I think back to every memory I have, my dad's attached to it. And for Nick, that's Sweet Lou. I mean, every single one. I mean, losing his best friend, the guy that's going to call him about every amazing thing in life, every tragic thing in life. It's like losing 3 people in one: your dad, your coach, and your best friend. And all we can do is honor Sweet Lou and try to be like him, try to run the race daily with love and finish the race strong. His legacy will, my goodness, I mean, the power of just approaching each day with that kind of love, the amount of the shock waves, of all these different kids he coached, and then all their lives and all the people they touch in a positive way because of Sweet Lou. I mean, attaboy. You did it. You did everything you could have done, Sweet Lou. And now Nick, as he said, he's gonna honor him daily by the way he parents and coaches. So that's all I got for today's episode, brother.
Same. That was amazing. And I appreciate Nick trusting us to give him kind of that space to brag about his dad. So yeah, pretty cool.
Amazing. All right, everybody, go call Dad. And love y'all.
That's it.